At 74, Dr. Phil McGraw, the man millions recognize for his commanding presence, sharp advice, and ability to unravel the most complicated personal struggles on television, has finally revealed the truth about a painful chapter in his own life that shaped the man he would become, his first marriage and subsequent divorce. For decades, viewers tuned in to watch Dr. Phil guide others through heartbreak, conflict, and emotional turmoil, never suspecting that he had once endured those very challenges himself. Long before the fame, before the empire, before Oprah introduced him to the world, he was simply Philip Calvin McGraw, a young man at the start of his journey. In 1970, at only 20 years old, Phil married his college sweetheart, Debbie Higgins. At the time, the two seemed to embody the hope and excitement of young love eager to start a life together and build a future. But the reality of their union soon revealed cracks that would ultimately bring it to an end. Debbie would later describe their relationship as controlling, claiming Phil wanted her to remain at home while he pursued his ambitions. And Dr. Phil himself has admitted that he was simply too young and unprepared to handle the responsibilities of marriage. At such a young age, he barely understood who he was, let alone what it meant to sustain a lifelong partnership. Within just a few short years, the struggles became too heavy to bear, and by 1973 the marriage dissolved, leaving both with lessons that would last a lifetime. For Dr. Phil, this divorce was more than just the closing of a chapter. It was a turning point, a painful but necessary experience that forced him to reflect on his choices, grow into maturity, and better understand what true commitment required. He later admitted that he had rushed into marriage far too quickly and that he and Debbie's expectations were never truly aligned. But the heartbreak also gave him wisdom and resilience that would influence not only his personal life but also his professional career. From that painful ending, Phil pressed forward, throwing himself into education, psychology, and eventually his groundbreaking media career, which would make him one of the most recognizable television personalities in
America.
Years later, he found the love of his life in Robin McGraw, the woman he calls his greatest partner and blessing. Together, they built a marriage that has lasted nearly 5 decades, one rooted in faith, mutual respect, and shared purpose, and Robin has stood by his side through every step of his journey from his earliest days to his rise to international fame. Now, looking back at 74, Dr. Phil does not view his divorce as scandal but as growth. A reminder that even those who appear to have all the answers once stumbled in their own search for love and stability. The end of his first marriage was not the end of his story, but rather the beginning of a journey that led him to the life, career, and lasting love he treasures today, proving that sometimes the hardest heartbreaks become the foundation for the greatest chapters of our lives.